Welcome, everybody, to You're Worth It. This is installers advocating their worth, and it's something that I am deeply passionate about as an installer. I don't think enough installers know their value and what they bring to the table to people, and so I want to help everybody be able to go out, charge more, and up the level of the industry. I think one of the reasons that we struggle to bring in new talent is people say that what we do is hard and it's bad on your body and you don't make a lot of money, and I haven't found that to be true. So, who am I? I'm Kyle Hedin. I own Illustrious Hardwoods in Phoenix, Arizona, and I host the Floor Academy podcast, which is all about running a better, more profitable flooring business. I've been in the flooring industry for 6 years, and I chose to be here. I wasn't a guy that stumbled into it. I am not a third generation, second generation installer. I literally chose to be here as I was thinking about new career paths and said, that's the direction I want to go. So one of the things I noticed very early on as I got involved was a lot of people complaining about wages. But there's no action behind it. It's just accepted. I can't do anything about it. I can't charge more. That's never going to work in my area. The store won't pay me more. It doesn't matter if I ask. These were all things that I noticed very quickly happening from all aspects of the industry and all across the country, if not the globe. And I saw it from being involved in the Facebook community groups, but I found one that was really, really amazing. And on Facebook, shouting from all over the place, you had James Dowling, who started the Flooring Installers of America group, which gave a lot of people a voice. Within that group, my good buddy Ken Ballin was in there just advocating to charge more. Every time somebody puts something, well, just charge more. It doesn't always work that way. I get that, but it's a great message that needs to happen. So those guys really changed what I was doing, and it started really simply, right? I was taking what most people would call side jobs. I was just doing flooring on the weekend for myself, right? I worked Monday through Friday for my boss. I started buying tools and stuff because I always knew I started with the idea I was going to go out on my own. So I was acquiring things. I was doing projects on the weekend. I was the dollar square foot guy that everybody hates. I was charging dirt low prices just to get going. But then when I finally did go fully on my own, my prices weren't very high. They might have been $1.25 to install a floating plank floor. But I started putting bids out there, and I'd add 10 cents here, a quarter here, 10 cents on this, right? I just started putting little bits of money on and saying, can I get it? Can I get a little bit more? I'm doing better work. Like, maybe I can get a little bit more. And people kept accepting. So they kept going up little by little, all the time, right? Oh, I'm booked out a month. Okay, let's start adding a little bit to these bids and seeing if I can't win some more. Win those bids, stay booked out a month, get to 6 weeks out. Well, let's add a little bit more. And it kept going up until I got to a point where I was losing too many, and I said, okay, I can back it off. And I just kind of found this sweet spot that worked for me. But I didn't really know everything that I was doing. So I was losing bids, but increasing my pricing. And within that, there's a ton that can go into it. And I started learning these things. So I had to adjust by growing myself. You can't just go and charge more. You've got to be able to offer value behind it, and you've got to have the knowledge to support it. So I started studying marketing. I started studying advertising because they're not the same thing. I was investing in trainings and certifications. studying sales techniques. You've got to study human psychology, business structures, because you're not, the minute you are running your own business, when you step away from being someone's employee and you open your business, you open a business. You are a businessman first, and you're going to wear 50 other hats: your sales, your marketing, the advertising department, you are the delivery guy, you are the, secretary, the scheduler. You wear 50 other hats. The thing you are last is flooring installer, because that's the last part of the project. You got to do all the other things to get to being able to install the floor. And if you can't figure out how to get that first part right, the installation part doesn't matter. So once you start learning better sales techniques and how to sell better value, your prices are naturally going to go up, and you're going to increase your acceptance rate again, which then means you can start charging a little bit more. Because if you're landing 80 to 100% of the projects you bid, you got a problem. Increase your rates right now. If you're 6 to 8 weeks out, increase your rates, because you don't need to be 6 to 8 weeks out. You can fiddle with things a little bit and start trying to make a little bit more money. So we all know time is money. My education has changed a ton of things as I've grown. I charge for consultations now. I don't do free estimates. Well, not in person. You can get a free estimate over the phone, because I know my numbers. I know what things are generally going to cost. I can ballpark you in a 20, 30-minute conversation over the phone, sell you value. If you say that, you really want to get some firm numbers, I'm happy to schedule a consultation with you. Come out, and I'm going to measure everything. I'll provide you with those numbers at that point, because you've purchased them. We'll go over your project start to finish. And if they decide to move forward, that consultation fee is applied towards the final balance. If they decide not to move forward, I got a small chunk of money for my time to go out there. Is my consultation fee what it truly should be at this point? Probably not. I'm probably generally giving people 2 to 3 hours of my time by the time it's all said and done, and I'm charging for about half an hour right now. So that's something that even I can continue to work on, but it's being different. In my area, there's not a lot of people asking for consultation fees. They'll still run out at the drop of a hat to go and look at a project. And I'm telling people, I need you to pay me to come out and look at it, which is very different. And honestly, most people haven't even been surprised by it. They all say, oh, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that's fine with me. So, I thought it would be much harder to get people to accept it, and it has not been. Any business is an exchange of time for money. You have a service you offer, and so what is your time worth? If you have a family camp out, my kids do Cub Scouts. We go on camp outs a couple times a year. I'm not missing that camp out. So I need to be able to be in control of my business enough that I can schedule that time off, but I also need to make enough money that I can afford to do that. If you're going to miss that camp out, what's that worth? Man, to me, it's priceless, but I don't even know what you would put a value on it at. What is your future self going to need medically? If you're in this trade 40 years putting flooring in, you might need a knee replacement or something with your shoulder or a hip, or who knows, right? I need to make sure that I'm making money now to support me later. I don't have anyone else paying into a 401k. I'm not getting medical benefits. There's nothing there. I have to self-provide all of this, which means I don't need to be able to pay my bills. I need to be able to pay my bills plus provide a retirement. So, and it's not just about the bills today, right? I can make sure my mortgage is paid. I can make sure I have water. Once again, it's about providing that retirement and being able to live comfortably without having to worry how I'm going to get by after age 65 if I want to start there and live nice and go play golf every day or fishing every day, or whatever it is I want to do, hang out with my grandkids. So what I thought being a business owner would be like was walking around with that big fat sack of cash. And it's actually like this guy with a million arms, not knowing what to do, right? We all see that invoice, and you think your boss is collecting that big old check. Oh man, look, it's for $12,000 and we've only been here 8 days. That's amazing. I can't believe he only pays me $200 a day. What a jerk. Man, you're wearing all the hats. Like I said, you're out there going to the distributor, picking the materials up, delivering them. You're doing the bids in the evening. Someone's got to throw the trash out from the truck at the end of the day and take it to the dump when everybody else gets to go home. You've got insurance to cover, tools to buy, gas to buy, all of this stuff. That check just does not go far. Anybody running their business knows that, right? So running a company isn't for everybody. There's people that are going to be really great at the hand skills and they're just never going to get the business part. I encourage you to try. If it doesn't work out, there's plenty of awesome business people to work for. Other guys are going to put in the time. They're going to have the good hand skills or semi-good hand skills. They're going to be awesome at the business side. They're going to build something that's going to need worker bees and people that just want to punch in and punch out. And that's where we need to know. You got to know what value you're bringing to the table and does this fit me? And then you can go and start developing it. So you're growing your potential for your future. I was talking about how I started adding little bits of money and I was the $1 a square foot guy and whatnot. I think when I started, I was at 25 cents a square foot for carpet removal. I charge 50 cents a square foot now. That's $4.50 a yard. I know for a fact there are people that make less than $4.50 a yard to install carpet. Now it's generally like high production stuff like apartments, but there are areas where people are getting less than $4.50 a yard in a residential setting. And I am a residential remodel only contractor for the most part. And I'm getting paid more to remove the stuff and throw it away. That's crazy to me and shouldn't exist. You're in this skilled position. You can do something that not everybody can do. And it does truly take good skills to have the knowledge of how to make an install successfully, whether it's how to do a seam properly on carpet, how to make sure there's proper expansion on hard surface floors, how to make sure that tiles adhered properly. All of these are skills and it takes technical knowledge to do it. That knowledge is worth something and you need to charge for it. The trade's not a commodity. Whether manufacturers, retailers, what the box stores say, they want it to appear to be a commodity and super easy. We're not a commodity. You don't have to have a floor in your home in order for it to function. It just adds value and makes it nicer. So you can't be beat down on price by being told it's easy or everybody can do it, because that's not the case. Not everybody can do it correctly. The retailers and manufacturers need us. Without the products can exist, the products can get sold, but without an installer, they're not going in. And if they're not in, they're worthless. So I'm not saying we hold all the power here, but there is a certain amount of give and take. There's a relationship that needs to develop between the three of us to work hand in hand. And I think right now it's viewed as like installers get stomped on, when in fact we have a lot more power than we're technically showing right now. It's this weird environment, and I think retailers have kind of the system has beat installers down, and they don't think they have much control, when in fact we do have control. Your potential for your future is going to be affected by, I already said, no one's paying your retirement. No, you don't get a 401k. You don't get medical benefits. No one's paying for any of this stuff. And so you have to be charging for it. So how do we do that? Okay. How much at the very bare minimum? This isn't going to go for all areas. There's going to be differences. This isn't a hard set number. This is my estimation based on how I feel and what I can make in my market, right? There's going to be what I make in Phoenix isn't what I need to make in Manhattan or LA versus rural Georgia. As a general idea, I think an installer should make $100,000 a year. I think that's a fair living wage for one person going and working 250 days a year to make for what we do. That's $500 a day. Okay. After taxes, and you got to pay your federal taxes, you got to pay your state and local taxes, all that stuff. $500 a day, 250 days a year, which is 50 weeks a year, 5 days a week. You're going to make 93,600. That's pretty close to 100,000. I'll give up a little bit to stay there. Okay. So the problem is we've only taken into account our salary and nothing else. So we have to go and work for $500 a day to get our salary. But now I own a truck, I own tools, I have employees, I have insurance, I have all this stuff. I'm not paying for that out of pocket. My business needs to pay that. So where do we need to be at in order to get there? At a bare minimum, you got to make at least $600 a day for the business to have any money. But is your business needing to be at 800? Do you have a retail shop and multiple crews and you need to be at 2,000 a day? You can't do anything until you know your numbers. My insurance and licenses cost about $4,500 a year. That adds $18 a day. I drove 23,000 miles last year, 14 miles a gallon with, let's say I put premium in my truck. So let's say I paid $3.75 a gallon. I'm paying $24.65 for 250 days a year of gas. So now I've got $24.65 plus 18 plus my 500. And I still haven't taken into account vehicle repairs, employees, any rent, any loans I may have, equipment repairs or new equipment. You have to figure out all of these costs. And then the business has to be profitable, be able to buy things beyond that. So you have to figure out your numbers. So how do I find my numbers? We started figuring out how much you need to know per day by breaking down all of that stuff. Look at your past years. Look at your profit and loss statement. Look at, work with your bookkeeper. If you do your books yourself, look at how much you're spending on stuff. How often do you have to buy a new saw? How often are you having to do a big repair on the truck or the trailer or whatever, right? Like figure out what it's going to take. You come up with how much you need per day. I shoot for $800 to $1,000 per day in labor. That's my personal goal for me as a single man team. So now how do I find out what I actually need to be charging? What does it cost me to install baseboard? What does it cost me to rip out carpet? What does it cost to actually put luxury vinyl plank down or hardwood down? So you have to do what's called time studies. You have to track everything. The minute you start ripping out carpet, it's 9 a.m. Okay. How long is it going to take me to get 500 square feet of carpet out? If I started at 9 a.m. and I'm done by 11 to get the carpet, the padding, the tack strip out, it took me 2 hours. I write that down. I keep track of everything for months and months. And then you can figure out the averages, right? How long is it going to take me to put in 350 linear feet of baseboard? So that's going to give you accurate numbers because you know how long something takes you, you know how much you want to make per day. You put those two together, you do a little division, you end up with what it should cost per square foot, per yard, per linear foot, whatever it's going to be. A lot of people start by, well, Bob over there, he's $250 a square foot, And Joe, well, he's charging $1.75, so I'll just be $2. You don't know if they're making any money or if they're profitable. That's just what they're charging because that's what other people are charging. Every business is as unique as the individual that runs it. Everybody has different overheads and costs. You can't base your numbers on what the local average is and what's going on with other people. You need to know what your numbers need to be for you to be successful. You might need to design a new model. I would take any project that came in my door when I started, right? Because we're hungry, we need to make a name. Over time, my bread and butter is homes that are between 350,000 to about 800,000. Middle class, upper middle class folks that run their own business or have worked from the bottom up in like a corporate environment. Those are the people I relate to. Those are the people that respect my pricing and the way I run my business. That's the market that I'm after. I'm not after people that want it for $1 a square foot. If they call and that's all they want to know is what's your price, what's your price, what's your price, I can tell them I'm not going to be a good fit. But when I can go through and explain the process and the value I add by doing it right, investing in certifications and stuff, the people that respect that are willing to pay the higher prices, and I get them all day long. You can look at it like this, right? So anywhere in the country you can go and you're probably going to find, your Honda dealer, your Kia dealer, whatever that's going to be. And you can probably find like a Porsche dealer, Lamborghini dealer. They're fewer and far between, right? But they offer a luxury vehicle experience. That luxury vehicle experience isn't any cheaper in rural Georgia than it is in Manhattan or LA or Phoenix or Dallas. That car costs the same amount of money no matter where it's bought. So there's people that get that car still because they want that luxury supercar experience instead of the base model Kia that's going to get you from point A to point B in function. So you have that same thing in any market where there's going to be low-end buyers and there's high-end buyers. You have to choose who you're going for. In like a truly rural area, maybe there's not as many high-end buyers, right? I get that. It's a different environment completely, but maybe you're willing to drive further to get to the city, or your rates don't necessarily have to be as high, but they don't need to be making you live paycheck to paycheck. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck or project to project, you're not running a business. And nobody starts a business to live paycheck to paycheck. You start a business to be profitable. So you've got to reevaluate what you're doing and learn how to get yourself out of that routine and into something new where you have a war chest. You have money to get you through tough times, where if you need to go and buy a new saw, you're not trying to figure out, how do I get the $500 to buy this saw right now? You shouldn't have to struggle for that. You should be able to go to your bank account, look at your numbers and say, I need this piece of equipment. I'm going to buy it right now because this is what's going to help me continue to be successful and make more money. Negotiating. Everything in life is a negotiation. I will haggle anything. I have walked into Tractor Supply Company because I needed 2 new trailer tires for a little trailer I have, and I went into the back, I grabbed them, I brought them up to the counter, looked at the young girl behind the counter, and I said, I'm buying 2 of these, how about I get 5% off? She said, okay, and I got 5% off. I will haggle at Walmart. I'll haggle anywhere. I don't care. It's just fun. Because the best thing I've learned is the worst answer you're going to get is no. And if you get a no, it's one step closer to yes. So big deal. You gotta. My dating life in high school would have been way different if I would have had the attitude I have now. That's for sure. I. What's the worst thing that a girl's going to tell you? Now, granted, as a 16-year-old male, the worst thing in the world is going to be no when you get rejected. But if I would have had somebody to mentor me in the proper mindset, you could have gone up to every girl in school and asked them out every day. Eventually, someone's going to say yes. And it's going to feel so good that the no's don't even matter anymore. So you're never going to get what you don't ask for. And this goes for anybody that's in here that doesn't run their own store, but or run their own installation business, but they're a subcontractor for a retailer. Retailers shouldn't be setting our rates. As a 1099 employee, it's technically illegal for the shop to tell you this is what we pay. They should be negotiating with you. You should be walking in and saying, this is how much I want. They can say, this is how much we're willing to give you. And you can negotiate out a rate based on what's going to make you both happy. So it needs to happen. We shouldn't ever be going into a shop and saying, how much do you pay? We should be saying, this is how much I charge. This is how much I want for this service. And going from there, but you have to have the numbers based on reality. You can't just all of a sudden say you want $12 a yard for carpet. Why does it actually cost you $12 a yard to do carpet? And then you're not, as a subcontractor, you're not doing all of the work that everybody else is doing, right? I have to advertise my business. I have to go and bid the job. I'm warrantying it myself. As a subcontractor to a retailer, you didn't have to advertise it. You showed up, you picked up a work order, and you may not have to warranty it. So there's some costs that get shifted around in the retail business. Now, do I think all retailers pay fairly? No, I'll say I don't think they do. But once again, that comes down to what you're willing to accept. I encourage everyone to go and ask for more and negotiate more. And if they're not willing to give you more, say, what do I have to do to get more? And start there. Go find a different retailer. There's probably one in your town that pays more. So what are you worth? This is a different approach than most people take, right? We touched on the fact that a lot of people are just looking at what's going on in their city and taking the average of what everyone's charging, and then they're going to say that there's everybody underbidding me and I can't win projects. Well, look, I got guys charging $1 a square foot all around me still. I don't have to bid projects at $1.50. I can bid floating plank at $2.50 a square foot, and I stay plenty busy. That's not the market I want to compete in. I found a different segment to compete in. So you need to decide the approach you're going to take and determine your value and how you're going to run your business. And when you actually start running a business instead of being an installer, you're going to see a huge difference in the income you make. Okay, it goes back, we're back to the very beginning. We've come full circle. You are wearing 50 hats. You are an installer last. If you don't understand how to run and manage the business, that business will not be successful. So you have to get those pieces in place so the installation goes smoothly and well and makes you money. You gotta, when you're running the business, you're gonna find out those costs, and you're gonna know what those costs are. People can't negotiate with you and ask for a discount. You're gonna know you can't give that discount. I know for me to make money, I have to be at a minimum of $500 to go out. If they only have one board that needs to get repaired, I know it's $500. Now, if I can find a way to tack that on to, I'm wrapping up a project on a half day here and I can move the trailer over to this location and get the repair done, I can do it a little bit cheaper. But if that's the only thing I have on my schedule that day, I'm sorry, that's what I need to be at. And if they want to tell me that that's ridiculously high and they can't pay it, I'm okay with that, because I can take that day, I can invest the time to work on my business and develop better systems, routines, look at my numbers again, And that time invested there will pay dividends on the back end, that it's okay that I lost that day of work. I'm going to make it up somewhere else. You're going to have added confidence in yourself because you know your numbers, right? Like I just said, if somebody comes at you and they say, well, can you do it? If I pay you cash, can you do it cheaper? No, that money still has to go in my bank account. I'm still paying taxes on it. I can't buy a house out of nowhere with $200,000 that I've been paid cash for the past 2 or 3 years that I've set aside and saved up. That's not happening. The government's going to wonder where I got $200,000 to buy a house. So I got to pay taxes on it. I can't give you the discount. I'm sorry. It puts you in a much better position. So you're worth the investment in yourself. You owe it to yourself to do what's best for you, and by learning and investing time in yourself and your business, you will become more valuable, and you will be able to lead not only a better business but a better life, in my opinion. So I thank you for attending and listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.